Welcome to the Munchkin Minute, your twice monthly look into some tabletop gaming news and more. I'm your host, Dan, the Board Game Man, and this is your news for November 4th, 2024. So first up, I wanted to put in a quick plug for Gamers for Cures. This is a charity I run each year since 2011. Of course, we took off for COVID, like a lot of other things did, but we've been going since 2011. And this is, they have a board game marathon every year at the Gamers Armory in Cary, North Carolina. So we go from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. And this year, to be on this Saturday coming up, 11/9/2024, so November 9th, we're a 501c3 tax-free organization, and all the donations that you make are tax deductible. So we have a few great ways to donate. So first, I'll put a link in the show notes for just direct donations. If you want to make donations, you can print out your tax receipt right there, and everything goes to Turner Syndrome Society of the Carolinas and the United States. We kind of donate to both of them. One is the local chapter and one is the national chapter. You can all that goes directly there. You can donate directly. I'll have a link in the show notes. Like I said, we've got a wall of games that you can put raffles in at the Gamers Armory. They have 90 games or game lots. Some things are packaged, bundles that I put on there, and some others are things like Frosthaven and some other great games that were donated. So there's 90 games on the wall, and you buy dollar raffles at the Armory, and you put your name and number on the back of them, and you put it into the boxes of the games that you want to win. Or you can do this if you're not local as well. I'll have a link to the Gamers Armory website where you can buy as many of those dollar raffles as you want and put them. Basically, you'll select which games you want to buy the dollar raffles for and how many you want to, and then they'll get put into the box right before the drawing. Now, we have a bunch of our offsite winners in the past. Every year, we always have people that are remote that get it. And of course, you do not have to be present to win these raffles, but you will have to pay shipping on the games that you do win. So, but we will ship them for you, to you from that store, from the Gamers Armory if you win. So we'll have also at the Armory during the day on Saturday, we'll have plenty of play to win games during the event from great sponsors, as well as once in a day and once in the evening, I have these door prizes. So what I do is I fill a huge table full of games and other things, and I give out raffle tickets to everyone that's in the building, and I just keep drawing numbers until the table is empty, which is always a great fun time. We've also got some silent auction items, including some Disney park tickets, a couple used game bundles, a lot of great things. We have such a fun time during Gamers for Cures. Any questions, just hit me up at gamersforcures@gmail.com. And like I said, we raise money for Turner Syndrome Society of the Carolinas and U.S. TS is a full or partial deletion of the second X chromosome in women. My daughter actually has TS, and it's just been a great way to raise awareness and raise money for the cause. And we've raised over $160,000 to date for this amazing cause. So also, like I said, just check out gamersforcures.com, or if you want to send me an email for any questions you may have. All right, so great news this week. I've got like 10 crowdfunding and some news, so I'm just going to be very, very fast as best as I can, so I don't overstay my welcome here. So first up, after a successful funding last year, for both the new Islebound and Creature Caravans, Red Raven Games is now going to be releasing Islebound the Emerald Edition. That's going to be into retail pretty much as soon as you hear this. They said it was late October of this year, which was last week, but it should be out now. This should be $50. So this updates the original Islebound with some great new changes of the rules and a few new resources, just a few little tweaks and changes. It's not intended as a quote-unquote second edition, but rather of an updating or variant to the initial game. And like I said, I have the original Islebound, and I'm a huge fan of it. And generally anything Red Raven and Ryan Lockett puts out, I love everything they've done. But this is a really fun game to play. Really cool thematic, kind of you're kind of going around to different aisles, picking up crew members, and then just getting, turning things in for points. Check out this new edition. I love to see, what anybody thinks of the new edition. Again, I really love the original game as well. Next up, Rio Grande is going to be releasing Moon Colony Bloodbath. This is going to be is designed by Donald X. Vaccarino. This one will be out in January, early next year. This should be $50. Now, Donald X. Vaccarino, as you may know, or you probably know the name, maybe you don't remember what it's from, but he's the creator of Dominion, which basically created deck building, and Kingdom Builder. He did that as well. Two amazing games. Now, this is an interesting game. It's a little bit of a departure from kind of what he did. It's a 1 to 5 player game, plays in about an hour and a half. It says it's an engine building, engine losing tableau game with a shared deck that the players will build that deck, and that makes things happen. So many of them bad things that kill people in your moon colony, but some positive and some that let you build it up. So what you're going to do is, as this kind of deck goes through, as you go through the deck for everyone, there's going to be, your colony is going to be kind of, losing people in your colony, and different things will happen, and you'll be able to create things in your tableau. So you're trying to create different ways to kind of stave off the badness that's going to come from that deck, and it's basically going to see the last one standing to win. Lucky Duck Games will be releasing Unconscious Mind. It'll be over here. They're bringing that over here in the U.S. That should be over here by February. It'll be about $6. This was kind of maybe a little bit under the radar at Essen, but this is a heavier weight Euro with worker placement and engine building. It looks really cool. There's a bunch of great designers in this one. Laskus, Johnny Pack, he did Coloma, Lions of Lydia, Sierra West, great games. Yoma and Antonio Zacks, also creators on this one. This one, like I said, it is a heavier weight Euro for 1 to 4 players, but it's about 2 hours. I would say probably with Teach in your first game, you're going to be probably closer to 3 hours, but it does have a really cool Euro style game. Like I said, it's a Euro game with worker placement, engine building. There's going to be a couple of rondels in there, and it says also cascading effects, which basically is just kind of as you're using your building your engine, you're just kind of building it bigger and bigger. And on your turn, you may place 1 or 2 ideas, which are the workers, on a central meeting table to access a variety of actions, such as adding tiles to your player board, drafting and playing cards, and moving around the city of Vienna. Where you place your ideas also determines how far to advance your rondels, inkpot, and activating a row or a column in the tile effects of your player board. Man, it looks great. I love these heavier, kind of really cool looking Euros. Next up, Renegade Game Studios. They kind of sent out a teaser for Wraith and the Giants by Scott Alms. Now, I love Scott Alms' games, and he does a lot of really cool solo games. This is a solo-only game, another one of his. This will be out in March of next year for about $35. Interesting, not a whole lot out there that has been said. It says it's a solitaire game of epic battles against elemental giants, progress through 4 unique boss fights at 3 different Wraith ages, chain your card combos and scar and defeat the giants. A 1-player game, like I said, solo game in about 30 to 45 minutes, so super full filler, but a really cool looking solo game. Scott Holmes does a lot of really cool stuff like this. Devere Games, they're so good at these like big games in small boxes. So Devere Games is releasing Quorum. That'll be out next year in March for about $30. Oh, the Wrath and Giants was $35. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. Anyway, Quorum should be about $30. This is a card drafting, tableau building game with a kind of a little bit of a social element to it. Kind of a smaller box game from Devere here. It says in Quorum, players take on the role of Roman senators who share the power of Rome and its provinces with the aim of acquiring the greatest amount of influence. The goal is to be the most powerful and influential senator by gaining victory points, which are awarded in various areas of influence over 12 rounds. So you're basically going to be you're kind of drafting and playing a card in front of you to affect one of the provinces, and then it's going to continue this way all your turns until everybody has 12 cards in front of them, and then see how they score. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Fantasy Realms. I don't have too many pictures on this one. I didn't see any videos, but just kind of how that feels, where eventually once you get the cards in front of you, you're going to see how everything scores. But it does look another one. Again, Devere is really good at these kind of really cool games, and big games in small packages, if you will. And so on their site, and with the press releases that I saw, they kind of, Wizards of the Coast teased a Marvel Spider-Man with Magic the Gathering. So I, like so many, have dabbled back in the day with Magic the Gathering, but not as much anymore. But I'm more and more intrigued by these kind of theme sets, like the Lord of the Rings, the Forgotten Realms, and now seemingly they're going into the Marvel theme, which I think would be very cool, but also there's been things out there like the Versus systems and other CCGs, and Marvel Champions, stuff like that. So, but anyway, this is obviously, it has Magic the Gathering, which is very familiar to a lot of people, the easy gameplay. A lot of people already know how to play, but I'm sure, anyway, Wizards of the Coast, they've done this with the other sets, and they're doing what they probably just set out to do. They got people like me interested in it and talking about it to get in onto one of their new sets. Who knows? Maybe I'll see if I get into this one. But I really love to hear from people in the Major Spoilers Discord or on Twitter if you've gotten into these other sets. And how are they? Are they good? Did they catch you into? Did you get the bug again, or is it just enough to hop in for a little while for something a little different to play for a deck or two with the theme, with that theme, IP, or universe? Is Marvel going to be bringing it for you? Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you in the Major Spoilers Discord. Let's head on to digital really quick. Cascadia is now in early access on Steam. It's $14.99. They've got solo and online play. There's a family mode, which has kind of simpler scoring objectives. There's a pass and play mode. There's solo scenarios, challenges, and a daily trek. A lot of really good things, and Direwolf Digital does a lot of great things in the digital space with board games. So this is going to be a really good one. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm probably going to get in on this one. I've got it on my wish list. I'll probably get in on that one. Again, that's Cascadia in early access on Steam. All right, let's head on over to, like I said, the crowdfunding. I've got a whole bunch, and I'm going to try to get through all of these. We've got Star Trek Murder Mystery and Escape Room games. This is by Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. This video, a bunch of good videos this week on these different Kickstarters. We've even got Todd Stashwick, Captain Liam Shaw himself, who is talking about the murder mystery. And the murder mystery game, you're trying to clear the good word or the good name of Liam Shaw. He's the captain from the Titan A. From Picard season 3. Now, I didn't watch a whole lot of Picard, but I did watch season 3, and it was great. I had a lot of fun. I really thought he was a good character. Pretty cool layers to him, and I thought it was great. So this is cool that it's a kind of a murder mystery, almost like an escape room game, murder mystery game in that kind of universe. And also the second one they've got is the Star Trek Into Strange New Worlds, which is also great Trek. Strange New World universe, that's the Mary Celeste, an escape room game. This is more of an escape room game. The first one being more of a murder mystery game, and the second one being more of an escape room game. You can get both of these in there. You can get the Murder on the Titan A for $38, or you can get the Mary Celeste escape room game for $58, or both of them for $88. It looks really good. Production looks decent, and it looks like they're probably already ready to go, so probably shouldn't take too long to get these shipped out. It's supposed to be August of next year, but who knows? Maybe they'll be a little bit earlier. It probably just needs to be to production there. Next up, Queen Games has 2 more of these Stefan Feld City Collection. This is going to be Chichen Itza and Valencia. So Chichen Itza, I believe, is a new game from Feld. It's a kind of Feld's take on Dudes on a Map. And it's got a pretty cool little action selection mechanism, where it's going to be kind of randomized at the beginning of the game, all the different actions on a central board. And depending on which action you want, if you're the first one to get there, you'll get 1 price to take that action. And the person who goes there second is going to get the higher priced. But it looks like a pretty cool game with some fighting in there. Again, Dudes on a Map is not Feld's thing, but it would be interesting to see his take on that. And the other one, Valencia, this is the new take of Strasbourg, which is a pretty cool game. One of his first games. It has some pretty cool mechanisms to it, so this will be a good one as well. 4 days to go to get in on this one, and you can get in on this one. You get Valencia, the Classic Edition, for $49. You can get the new Deluxe Edition for $78. You can get the Valencia and Chichen Itza Classic for $125. You can get it's Chichen Itza Deluxe. I'm sorry, I can't say it very well. The Deluxe is about $152 US, and you can get both of the Deluxe editions for $234. They do a really good job production-wise with Queen Games. Does a great job production-wise with these type of these new Stefan Feld collection games. They're really good, and they put a lot of extras into these boxes. So definitely check that one out. A lot smaller now, this next one, Into the Dark Dungeon Silver Mine. This has got about 4 days to go. This is from Paramythic Games. You can get in this one. You can get a print and play for about $11, or you can get into this one for about $24 US. This is kind of like a minimalist dungeon crawler. I kind of like it with kind of simplistic art, just using cubes, some pretty cool looking dungeons, and the way that they play out. I like these little games, big games in little packages, so I think this is going to be another one. It is well funded, about 4 days to go, so you'll get in this one pretty quick. Into the Dark Dungeon. Another kind of minimalist game, in the dungeon crawl area is the Dungeonator. Die in a Dungeon. Now, I think there's already been the Dungeonator. God, I can't say that. Dungeonator, the original one. It's got some interesting. I think there's just by itself. This is kind of more of an expansion with the Die in a Dungeon, using some dice as different Dungeoneers, as your different characters going into the dungeon. It's got a very unique art style, which I think is pretty cool, and very good humor to the game. You can get in on this one to get Die in a Dungeon. It's a printed copy for $25. You can get more of them. You can get both printed decks of it for $36 of the original one, and you can get the Die in a Dungeon plus the original Dungeonator deck for $43. So I like this one. If anybody's played the original, let me know, because this looks pretty cool. I'd love to hear what people think about this particular one. I just like, I like dungeon crawls in a different way. I mean, obviously I love those big sprawling Frosthaven type ones, but I do like the smaller ones as well, that they bring kind of unique little things together. Again, this one is funded, and it's got a little less than a week to go on this one. Next up, Mutagen. This is by Dranda Games. You can get in on this one they've got the Keeper Pledge, which has a lot of things to it for $103, which has got the playmat, both expansions, or you can get just kind of the bare bones editions for about $59 US. That other one is $103 for the Keeper Pledge US. This is an interesting game where I do like worker placement, and this has your usual kind of post-apocalyptic theme to it, but it's a worker placement game in which you're going to be changing your workers. This is something that I've kind of been trying to design for a while, but I do like the idea of having workers that do different things depending on which workers they are. So you can kind of upgrade your workers with little things that go onto your wooden meeples, which will then make them kind of uniquely changed in what their powers do, where they can go, and customizing them and what they can do. So I like that kind of thing. They say, I guess it's not post-apocalyptic, it's a biopunk universe. It says where the ruling elite is distinguished by their genetic mutations. And that's basically what's going on, is all your workers are having their mutations, and that's how you're changing your workers. And again, they'll be doing different things depending on where you put them and what kind of extras that you have to them. It's about a week and a half to go. It is well-funded. And it's not too much to get on that one. Again, the regular worker pledge is about $46 US. And then they've got a couple of mini expansions. They've got a Johnny Pack expansion and a David Turtsey solo expansion. If you want to get on that with the base pledge, you can get $59 total US for that. Next up, Half-Truth Second Guess. This is the team-based sequel to the original Half-Truth party game. This is pretty cool. I do like these kind of really cool party games. This is the one that's been designed by Richard Garfield from Magic the Gathering and Ken Jennings from Jeopardy. You kind of get a card. It's going to have 6 things on it with kind of a category. 3 things will be correct. 3 things will be incorrect. You'll be guessing on your team. You'll be making guess of which ones you think fit it. And depending on if you got, how many and all, well, you only score if you have correct answers. So depending on you really only want to guess if you're sure of something, because that's the only thing that's going to contribute if you get all of them correct. And then you'll go basically it'll contribute to your team's points. So really cool little party game. They sent me one of these and we've had a blast playing this. I'm going to break this more out at Thanksgiving and see how, the extended family, kind of the novice gamers enjoy this sort of thing. But you don't have to really know a whole lot of anything. But it's really cool how categories that you think you would know exactly everything, when they add these other ones in there, they've done a really good job curating the guesses, because you're like, ooh, that sounds like it should be cool, should be true. So this is a really cool one. You can get in on this one for $20. Is all it takes, and you can get the original game plus the expansion for $49 for both of them. But you can just get in this one for the $20. Next up is a kind of an updating of an older game. This was a really cool game. This is Barony Royal Edition. There's about 2 weeks to go. It is funded. This is basically just kind of an updating to the look of Barony. I think they also put like an expansion out after, and I think that'll be in this box. So it's kind of an updating in the just kind of the, I guess, the production more so than the game, because there's a little bit of things added to the game, but the game is not changed at all. So Barony is an interesting game because there's really no luck involved, and this is what a lot of Euro players really like about it. There's no dice rolling, there's no real cards. You're just kind of having this board that comes out. The only randomness is, I think, when you're building other map pieces, that's kind of random which comes out, but you're still kind of determining which way they're faced and where they go. But as you're putting pieces out, you're then upgrading your pieces or moving your pieces and turning in your pieces, upgrading yourself. So it's really cool. Again, a lot of people that like heavy Euro games that don't like any randomness at all absolutely love Barony. I kind of dig Barony. It's a little dry soulless Euro, maybe even a little drier than me, but I do enjoy the game, and it is a good challenge. It is quite a bit fun. So you can get in on this one for about $40 US. There's also an extra pledge, which has got an extra copy of Barony and all the stretch goals. It's about $75. So if you get somebody else to go in on you, save a little bit of money there. But it is well funded and about 2 weeks to go. Next up is Silos, Ego, and Orbit. This is a epic sci-fi trilogy by Reiner Knizia. It says an epic board game trilogy featuring an alien conspiracy that spans multiple millennia and genres. 2.5 weeks ago. Of course, this is well funded because it is Reiner Knizia. So you can get in on just Ego for $49. You can get Orbit for $49 and Silos for $55, or all of them, I believe you can get for about $152. Again, they're each a little bit different in the way that they play. They've got Ego, which says an epic push your luck galactic trek featuring game of chicken auctions as you navigate precarious cosmic Politics. Orbit, which is orbital race between interstellar tourists. This one is a tactical space race across a system of unique orbiting planets and useful situations. And Silos, aliens are taking over, but you are the alien, so that's good. Compete with other alien factions as you brainwash and abduct humans, and cows too, of course, while secretly infiltrating their community. Tussle for area majority in key locations of this small 80s town as you seek to activate local location powers and control human specimens for ultimate power and prestige. You don't really need to listen to anything I had to say. Just remember, it's 3 more Knizias, and the production value is excellent. So I absolutely, Reiner Knizia, one of the best game designers of all time. He always comes up with great kind of mechanisms, cool, different types of scoring, and just a lot of fun ways to play the game. Again, 2.5 weeks to go. I think, go to there, even if you just want to get one of the 3 games or all 3 of them, just go there to check out how they kind of look as far as the, which game may be right for you, unless you just want to get all of them. Let's head on over to GameFound for the final 2. So first up, Rumble Planet by Ankama Board Games. This is kind of an interesting, just a real fun little game where you're kind of a battle royale type game. There's a bunch of different characters you can play. You're kind of thrown out onto this board. It's kind of a cool 3D type board. And as you go around a board, it's kind of, the whole theme is basically people are watching you play in a battle royale, I guess almost kind of like Hunger Games in a way, because you're going around picking up these boxes that are going to be helping you to load out your equipment, and you're going to be doing things to get sponsors, to get more money, to get more things to be able to kill each other on this planet. It's 65 euros to get in, but there's also a way that you get all these miniatures painted, and I think that's about 140 or so euros. It is a bit much for the type of game, but man, if you want, I think it's 135 euros. But again, it's the gameplay all in, and with games like this, a lot of times, if you're going to get the euro, you're going to get these miniatures, you might as well get them pre-painted. Unless you're a lot of the people that listen to this show, I know you guys like to do your painting yourselves, and this looks like great type of miniatures and big miniatures where they'd be a lot of fun to paint. But that is Rumble Planet. And finally, what would be another Munchkin Land without a big-ass kind of campaign dungeon crawl game? This is by Steamforged. This is Bard Sung, Tale of the Forsaken Glade. I think this might be kind of a newer Bard Sung. I don't know. Did anybody ever play Bard Sung? You have to let me know if you played the original game. The theme obviously being, kind of the fantasy game. Each one of these kind of modules or campaign missions, about 90 minutes, plays 1 to 5 players. The game looks pretty cool. Amazing miniatures. The way that kind of the combat is, and kind of the way there's a lot of puzzles, and even combats themselves are a little bit puzzles. There's only a couple of days left on this one, but it is well funded, and I'm sure you'll be able to get the late pledges as well. But this is another one of these huge boxes that's about $200 to get in, or just the all-in is huge because it's about 4 boxes to this, but it's about $200, but it looks great. That is Bard Sung, Tale of the Forsaken Glade. Again, it just looks really, really good. Thanks for joining me today. If you see any news you think I'd like to feature, shoot me a message at GeekJockDan on Twitter, and of course on the Major Spoilers Discord, where I love to chat all about board games. Also, please check out themajorspoilers.com for more content by Steve and the rest of the Major Spoilers crew, and check out the Geek All Stars podcast. We just did a really fun show with a kind of an arcade game draft, which was a lot of fun. As always, I am Dan, the Board Game Man, and we'll see everyone in a couple weeks for another Munchkin Minute.
This podcast is copyright 2024 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.